Most moms are out here spending hundreds of dollars on flashcards, fancy educational toys, brain development apps, and baby Einstein programs, all trying to give their baby a head start. And look, there is nothing wrong with that. That is love. That is a mama doing everything she can. But here is what nobody is telling you. The real signs that your baby is already highly intelligent, they are not showing up in some expensive program. They are not hiding behind a paywall or locked inside a curriculum you have to buy. They are happening right in front of you. Right now. In your living room, on your playmat, during diaper changes and feeding sessions and ordinary Tuesday mornings. Your baby is already showing you exactly how smart they are. You just have not known what to look for. Until right now. Before we get into the habits, let's get one thing straight. When most people hear the word IQ, they picture a test. A score. A number that tells you how smart someone is. But here is the thing: you cannot give a baby an IQ test. They cannot hold a pencil. They cannot answer questions. They cannot sit still for 5 minutes, let alone an hour. So how do researchers actually measure intelligence in babies? They watch them. They study their behavior, their reactions, their curiosity, and the way they interact with the world around them. And over decades of research, developmental psychologists have identified specific habits, tiny, everyday behaviors that consistently show up in babies who go on to demonstrate higher cognitive ability as they grow. These are not random. These are not coincidences. These habits are windows directly into your baby's developing brain. And once you know what they are, you are going to start seeing your baby completely differently. Let's get into it. You have probably seen this happen. Your baby locks onto something: a shadow on the wall, the pattern on your shirt, a ceiling fan that isn't even moving and just stares. Hard, like they are trying to solve something. Like they are working through a problem that only they can see. And you probably thought, okay, that's cute. Maybe a little weird, but cute. Mama, that is not just cute. That is your baby's brain working overtime. Researchers call this preferential looking. And what they found is that babies who spend more time staring at and processing visual information in their early months score significantly higher on cognitive tests later in childhood. What is happening in that long stare is not spacing out. It is the opposite. Your baby is taking in information, processing it, comparing it to what they already know, and building new brain connections in real time. The longer the stare, the harder the brain is working. So, the next time your baby zones in on something and just will not look away, don't interrupt it. Let them stare. Let them think. Something important is happening in there. You spent 20 minutes setting up the perfect play area. Colorful toys, different textures. Everything within reach. Your baby plays with one thing for about 45 seconds, and then throws it across the room and looks at you like, what else you got? Every mom has been there. And most moms think, am I buying the wrong toys? Is something wrong with my baby's attention span? Nothing is wrong. Actually, everything is very, very right. Researchers have found a strong connection between novelty-seeking behavior in babies and higher IQ scores later in life. When a baby gets bored of something quickly, it means their brain has already absorbed everything useful from that object and is now demanding something new to process. Think about it this way: a brain that is satisfied with the same thing over and over is a brain that has stopped looking for more. But a brain that gets bored fast? That is a brain that is always hungry, always searching, always ready for the next level. You didn't buy the wrong toy. Your baby just graduated from it in 10 minutes because their brain wouldn't let them settle for less. That's not a problem, that's potential. Put the most colorful toy in the room. Play the most interesting music. Set up the most visually stimulating environment you can imagine. And then walk in. Watch what happens. A highly intelligent baby will drop all of it and look at your face. Psychologists call this social referencing, and it is one of the most significant early indicators of both cognitive and emotional intelligence. What the baby is doing is using your facial expressions as information. They are reading your reactions to understand the world around them. Is that new person safe? Let me check mom's face. Is this situation okay? What does her expression say? Should I be curious or should I be careful? Your face is their first textbook. And smart babies, they never stop studying it. Babies who engage in strong social referencing early on develop better language skills, stronger emotional intelligence, and higher problem-solving ability as they grow. They are not staring at you because they have nothing better to do. They are staring at you because you are the most important source of information in their entire world. Real quick, if you are the kind of mom who actually pays attention to these little things, who notices the details, who wants to understand what is really going on inside her baby's mind, you are exactly who this channel is built for. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss what's coming next. Because we talk about this stuff every single week. And trust me, you are going to want to be here for what's coming. Okay, back to it. We are only halfway through, and it gets even better. Your baby watches you clap and tries to clap. You stick out your tongue, and they stick out theirs. You make a sound, and within seconds, they are trying to make it back. It seems simple. It seems like just a fun little game. But what is happening underneath that imitation is one of the most sophisticated learning systems in the human brain. Mirror neurons, the brain cells responsible for learning by watching, are firing at full power every time your baby imitates you. And research shows that babies who begin imitating early and imitating accurately are demonstrating advanced neural development. They go on to show stronger language acquisition, faster social development, and higher scores on early childhood cognitive assessments. She is not just copying you because it is fun. She is studying you, downloading you, using you as her primary model for how to exist in this world. And the fact that she is doing it so quickly, so naturally, so completely, that is not just adorable. That is one of the smartest things a baby can do. Okay, mamas, raise your hand if you can already tell the difference between your baby's hungry cry and their tired cry. Between the I am in pain cry and the I just want to be held cry. Of course you can. Because your baby taught you. But here is what most people do not realize about that: the fact that your baby developed different cries for different needs in the first place. That is not just biology. That is early communication intelligence. Researchers have found that babies who develop differentiated, distinct cries earlier in infancy show stronger language development later on. Because what they are doing, even at weeks old, is figuring out that different signals produce different responses. That communication is a system. That the world responds to what they put out. That is cause and effect reasoning. In a newborn, you already know her different cries, don't you? You learned her language before she could even begin to learn yours. That is not just mom instinct at work, that is your baby being absolutely brilliant, and you being smart enough to listen. Watch your baby on the playmat sometime. Put something slightly beyond where their hand can comfortably go, and just watch. They do not give up. They lean. They stretch. They shift their whole body. They try a different angle. They reach with everything they have got. And when they finally get it, that look on their face. Pure, unfiltered satisfaction. What you just watched was not random movement. That was your baby setting a goal and executing a strategy to reach it. Developmental psychologists identify intentional reaching as one of the earliest signs of goal-directed behavior. It means the baby's brain has done something remarkable. It has looked at the world, identified something it wants, calculated the gap between where it is and where it wants to be, and initiated a physical plan to close that gap. That is spatial reasoning. That is early problem solving. That is the same mental process that, years from now, will help them work through math problems, navigate social situations, and figure out how to get from where they are to where they want to go in life. That determined little stretch across the blanket is not random. That is your baby going after their first goal. And they are not stopping until they get it. This last one is the one that stops most moms in their tracks when they really think about it. You have probably seen it happen. Your baby gets fussy, gets overwhelmed, gets worked up, and then does something. Maybe they find their thumb. Maybe they turn their head to the side and focus on something across the room. Maybe they take a few rapid breaths and slowly settle themselves down. Without you. On their own. What you just witnessed is called self-soothing, and in the world of developmental psychology, it is considered one of the highest early indicators of developing intelligence. Here is why. The ability to regulate your own emotional state, to recognize that you are overwhelmed and take action to bring yourself back down, is a skill that neuroscientists link directly to the prefrontal cortex. The most advanced part of the human brain, the part responsible for decision-making, focus, and long-term success. Most adults struggle with emotional regulation their entire lives. They reach for their phone when they are anxious. They eat when they are stressed. They lash out when they are overwhelmed. And your baby, this tiny little human, who has been on this earth for a matter of months, is already figuring out how to manage what they feel. Let that sink in for a second. That is not just a good sleep habit. That is the very beginning of emotional intelligence. And research consistently shows that children who develop strong emotional regulation early perform better academically, socially, and professionally later in life. Your baby is not just calming down. Your baby is building the foundation of their future self. Now here is the part where I want to be really clear with you. You do not need to run out and buy a new program. You do not need to restructure your entire day. You do not need to feel like you have been doing something wrong, because the things that feed every single one of these habits are things you are probably already doing. Making eye contact, responding when they reach for you, getting on the floor with them and just being present, talking to them even when they cannot talk back, letting them explore instead of jumping in to fix everything immediately, following their curiosity instead of redirecting it. These are not expensive. These are not complicated. These are not things that require a degree, or a program, or a perfect parenting strategy. These require you. Showing up, paying attention, being there. The most powerful thing in your baby's development is not a toy. It is not an app. It is not a curriculum. It is you, present, responsive, and paying attention to the tiny moments that everyone else walks right past. Here is what I really want you to walk away with today. Intelligence is not built in a classroom. It does not start at age 3 when they begin learning letters. It does not switch on when they start school. It starts here, in these ordinary moments, in the long stares and the thrown toys and the different cries and the determined little reaches across a playmat. It starts in the relationship between a baby and the person they love most in the world. That person is you. You are not just raising a baby. You are literally building a brain. And every time you respond to their cues, every time you let them explore, every time you get down on their level and engage with their world, you are laying down neural pathways that will shape who they become. You are the curriculum, Mama. You always have been. So here is my question for you today. Which one of these 7 habits does your baby already show? Which one made you stop and think, wait, my baby does that all the time? Tell me in the comments. Seriously, I read every single one. And I want to know about your baby. And if this video made you see your little one differently today, if it gave you that moment of wow, my baby is actually incredible, then this channel has so much more waiting for you. We talk about baby psychology, development, and the science behind the moments that matter most every single week. Subscribe right now and come back tomorrow. Because your baby is growing fast, and the more you understand about what is happening inside that little mind, the more you can show up for it in the ways that actually count. Your baby is already smart. Now you know how to see it.